Hello, sports fans. It is Monday, January the 28th, the year 2013, and as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. We have a lot to recap since the last time I talked to you. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I do not need 2 weeks in between the championship games and the Super Bowl. To me, the Super Bowl should have been played yesterday. Why do we need a 2-week break? The 2-week break is not for the hardcore football fans like me. It's for all the people that jump on the bandwagon and watch one game a year. They got to hype this Super Bowl for 2 weeks. No true football fan needs 2 weeks off after the championship game. The game should have been played yesterday. I'm already sick of all the stories about the Super Bowl. Can they please play the game already? I don't want to hear all these mindless stories for another week and all the silly interviews. It just gets really ridiculous after a while. Play the game the week after the championship game, and please do away with this Pro Bowl. I mean, I saw a second of the Pro Bowl, and that was more than enough. I mean, what did the NFC win, like 100-35 yesterday? No one plays any defense. It's a glorified scrimmage. No one wants to tackle each other. You can't blame them. No one wants to get hurt in the Pro Bowl. Yeah, the players love it because they get a free trip to Hawaii with all the amenities, so they love it. I guess the people in Hawaii like it because they get their one football game a year. But does anyone else care about the game? I mean, what a complete joke. It's unwatchable. It's unwatchable football. They might as well play touch football or flag football. I mean, and another thing, none of the guys from the 49ers or the Ravens obviously are going to go there the week before, the Super Bowl. So the two best teams who have all the Pro Bowlers, none of them are going to play. Tom Brady doesn't want to go. I mean, half the guys don't even want to go, so you're going to have the true Pro Bowlers. You have the second-tier guys going most of the time. I mean, it's a complete joke. There's no defense played whatsoever. I mean, it was ridiculous. I watched a couple seconds, and all I saw was touchdowns all over the place. No tackling. It's just ridiculous. I don't need the Pro Bowl. As far as I'm concerned, they could do away with the Pro Bowl completely. I don't need it at all. I don't need any All-Star games. I'm sick of all of them. I'm sick of the NHL All-Star game. I'm sick of the NBA All-Star game. I used to love the dunk contest in the NBA. That's lost its luster. And then Major League Baseball making the All-Star game, count for home field in the World Series. I mean, what a bunch of garbage that is. I mean, what a joke. So do away with these All-Star games, especially the Pro Bowl. I mean, what a waste of time. But back to my original point. The hardcore football fan does not need 2 weeks off in between. They do not need 2 weeks off. They are catering to the non-football fan for the Super Bowl. That is what I do not like about the Super Bowl. Most of the people in the crowd in the Super Bowl are not real fans. They run all those, ads and commercials, not for the true football fan. Nothing about the game is for the true football fan. They're catering to the people that parachute in and watch their one game a year. I personally cannot take it. The game should have been played yesterday. Now we have another week of hype. How many Ray Lewis stories can we hear? Randy Moss, Kaepernick, the same stories over and over and over. How many times are you going to hear about Harbaugh versus Harbaugh? Every channel I go on, they're talking football. Harbaugh. Every single time. I can't take it anymore. Play the game the week after the championship game. They're never going to do it because they want to hype the game for 2 weeks. I, as a fanatic football fan, and all the hardcore football fans I talk to, they don't need 2 weeks off from the championship game to the Super Bowl. So please, enough already. So that's that. Let's go through some of the scores since I last talked to you. Let's start in the NBA. On Thursday, the Knicks edged Boston. That was on Thursday night. Friday, the Hawks beat Boston in 2 overtimes. Memphis bombed the Nets. The Bulls destroyed Golden State. Spurs clipped Dallas, and the Lakers ended their drought, and they beat Utah. On Saturday, Philadelphia whacked the Knicks. I was surprised about that. Washington beat the Bulls. Surprised about that as well. Rockets beat the Nets. The Nets are starting to struggle a little bit. And the Bucks beat Golden State. Golden State's had a bad couple of games. Portland beat the Clippers. Boy, the Clippers really miss Chris Paul. And Utah beat Indiana. As far as yesterday, the Lakers beat Oklahoma City. And that's another thing. Let me stop right there. The Lakers win one game. Yes, it was a nice win against Oklahoma City. I understand that. Let's keep it in perspective. They were home. I mean, they do have some talent. The way the media said the Lakers are improving and here they come and they've turned the corner. We've been down this road before with the Lakers. They've gone on winning streaks before this year. And what have they done? They fell right back into their same pattern and, lost a bunch of games. They are 6 games under 500. Let's not say they're a championship contender because of one home game. And can they do it on the road? They haven't won a big game on the road all year. I mean, come on, the media with the Lakers, every day it's a different story. Dwight Howard and the meetings and Kobe asking Dwight if he wants to play with him, and another meeting, and Nash and D'Antoni, and they fire Brown, and I can't take any more of this with the Lakers. Every single day it's a different story, and the media just eats this stuff up because the media just loves all this kind of stuff. Now they want to say because of one win, the Lakers are improving and they've turned the corner. 2 days before that, they said the Lakers were finished. I mean, give me a break already. And I don't want to hear any more coming out of the Laker locker room. Whatever they talk about, keep to yourselves. I don't want to hear Kobe on Twitter. I don't want to hear him on Yahoo. I don't want to hear him talking to Stephen A. Smith. I don't want to hear Dwight Howard at all. I mean, I'm sick of this guy. This guy has turned into a complete clown. He's got all the ability in the world. I mean, he just messed up the whole situation in Orlando. Then he tries to get himself traded to the Nets. That all falls apart. He goes to the Lakers. He's unhappy in Los Angeles. Who knows where he ends up after this year? He's still a free agent. Still hasn't signed an extension with the Lakers. So the Lakers are going to have to go through exactly what Orlando was going through. I mean, I cannot take any more. Then you got Artest. I'm sorry, Meta World Peace. I mean, do you believe that Ron Artest calls himself Meta World Peace? I mean, give me a break. It's like a cartoon act with these Lakers. I mean, what a joke. So I can't take any more of them. Yes, nice win against Oklahoma City. Go win a few more games and go win on the road and go get the 500 at least before we start talking about them turning the corner. Complete joke. Knicks last night in the Garden edged Atlanta. Melo had a big three-point play at the end of that game. The Knicks were down 1. Melo had a huge game, 42. He's playing great this year. Clippers did end their long losing streak. They had lost like 4 in a row without Chris Paul. They beat Portland last night. They had a back-to-back with Portland. They lost in Portland, beat them last night in Los Angeles. But the Clippers really miss Chris Paul. Have to have him. And Boston in 2 overtimes beat the Heat. Boston won the battle, but they lost the war. They lost Rondo for the year with a torn ACL. I didn't like Boston's team to begin with. I thought they had, they have a lot of age on them. I mean, now they're going to be in danger of even making the playoffs. They're hanging on to the 8th seed right now. They're only a couple games ahead of, the 9th seed. I think it's the Sixers. Now with Rondo out, he's one of their young stars. He's one of the few guys that's actually young on the team. You have him out for the year. Boston's going to be lucky to make the playoffs. They are not a serious contender. I didn't think they were with Rondo. Without him, no chance. Over to the NHL. Thursday, the Flyers beat the Rangers 2-1. That was a very competitive game. Friday, the Devils beat the Capitals 3-2. Winnipeg beat Pittsburgh 4-2. Saturday, the Rangers beat Toronto in the Garden 5-2. San Jose beat Colorado 4-0. Chicago beat Columbus, and they went to 5-0. Philadelphia beat Florida 7-1. St. Louis beat Dallas, so St. Louis went to 4-1 with that win. And then they beat Minnesota, so they went to 5-1. St. Louis, a couple of nice wins in a row there. Pittsburgh yesterday beat Ottawa in a shootout. San Jose beat Vancouver. And then Chicago beat Detroit. Chicago is 6-0. Tampa Bay beat Philly. And Washington finally got a win. They beat Buffalo. So that is kind of your NHL scores. As far as your college basketball, Miami. How about Miami? Miami beats Duke 90-63 last week, and then they come back and they beat Florida State. Miami is in the top 25. What a great job by Larinaga. If you remember, Larinaga coached George Mason. He was there forever. He got George Mason to a Final Four, believe it or not. And then he finally left George Mason take the job at Miami, which is an impossible place to win. Miami never wins in college basketball. They're a football school all the way, and they have their own troubles in football. They're having a hard time winning. But in college basketball, they're non-existent. He's turned this team completely around. They're in the top 25. They beat Duke, blow out Duke by almost 30 points. Then they come back and beat a good Florida State team. So really nice job by Miami. I am shocked at how good Miami is this year. What a great coaching job by Larinaga. We always knew he could coach. He could recruit at George Mason. We always wondered, could he get the players at Miami? He's doing a great job so far. So nice job by Miami. How about LaSalle the week they had? LaSalle beat Butler, and then they beat Virginia Commonwealth. LaSalle, with 2 wins like that, they could make the NCAA tournament if they keep it up. I mean, what a nice job by LaSalle. You're not going to have a better week than that. Beating Butler and Virginia Commonwealth. UCLA won at Arizona. Very hard place to win, so nice job by UCLA. Virginia Commonwealth, not a good week. They lost to Richmond and LaSalle, so a bad week for VCU. Duke did rebound after their pathetic performance against Miami, and they beat Maryland. You knew Duke was going to respond. I mean, Duke never has 2 bad efforts in a row, and they show no effort against Miami. And you know Coach K was on them about that. They came back and beat Maryland. Villanova upset Syracuse, and this is after Villanova beat Louisville. Villanova had back-to-back stormings on their court. They stormed the court twice. They beat Louisville, then they beat Syracuse. What a double dip for Villanova. Nice job by them. Kansas at home beats Oklahoma. No shock. Kansas never loses at home. Georgetown beats Louisville. What's going on with Rick Pitino's Louisville team? 3 in a row? Louisville, this team lost 3 in a row. Hard to believe. I didn't think they'd lose 3 games all year. They lost 3 in a row. Not a good job by Louisville. We'll see if they bounce back tonight. Butler did bounce back over their tough loss to LaSalle, and they beat Temple. Wisconsin edged Minnesota by 1 point. San Diego State beat New Mexico 55-34. New Mexico had 34 points for the game. What's that all about? NC State beat their arch rival North Carolina. Yesterday, Michigan beat Illinois. Look for Michigan to go to number 1. Indiana beat Michigan State in a very good game, 75-70. And as I said, Miami beat Florida State. And how about St. John's? St. John's beats Seton Hall. St. John's goes to 13-7. 5-3 in the Big East, and they are in 3rd place in the Big East, and they started off very slow this year. They have a lot of freshmen, too. Steve Lavin can coach, and he can recruit. He was out all of last year recovering from cancer. Seems to be a lot better this year. Lavin can coach, and he can recruit. Give him some time. He's got a lot of freshmen there already starting to pay some dividends. They have a lot of talent on the St. John's team. They have a chance to make the NCAA tournament. Now, their schedule gets brutal. They have DePaul coming up. That's going to be a win. But after that, look at the gauntlet they have to run the next 4 games after that. At Georgetown, home for Connecticut, at Syracuse, at Louisville. That's going to make or break the St. John's season. They have to hang in there. They have to get at least 1 of those games. You'd sign for 2 right now. They could possibly lose 3 or 4 of those games. I mean, I don't see one game there that they'll be favored in. At Georgetown, home for Connecticut, at Syracuse, at Louisville. That is a dangerous stretch of games for St. John's. We'll see if Lavin and the freshmen can hang in there. Very important stretch for St. John's after they play the ball. But overall, I love the job Steve Lavin is doing with St. John's, and I think he's a really good coach, and he's a good recruiter as well. Some other news and notes from over the weekend. Tiger Woods has a 6-shot lead in the Farmers Insurance Open. The final round is today. Got delayed a couple times because of weather, fog yesterday, so they will finish up today. Tiger Woods should hang on. He's got a 6-stroke lead. Good to see Tiger Woods playing well. We've been waiting for Woods for a couple years now to do something. Maybe this is the tournament that springboards him into a big year. He's still chasing Jack Nicklaus for the most majors. We thought for sure he was going to pass him. Now we're not so sure at all. He hasn't won a major in a bunch of years now. This could be the start we're looking for. And I, as a casual golf fan, like when Tiger Woods is at the top of his game. To me, it gets me excited about golf. I don't know how the hardcore golf fan feels. Do they need Tiger Woods in there? Would they still watch golf as much as they did? As a casual golf fan that I am, I keep an eye on it. I need Tiger Woods playing at a high level. He makes everything exciting. He makes the tournaments exciting. He's the guy that everyone's chasing all the time. We need Tiger Woods playing at a high level in golf. As far as the boxing, Matiste the other night, first round knockout over Mike Dallas Jr. Matiste's got a lot of power. Look for him to have some big fights in the future. Jesus Soto Karass beat Aidan. Very close fight. 2 good prospects I saw over the weekend too. Jernell Charlo, he looked good, and his brother Jamal Charlo both looked good. So both Jamal Charlo brothers both looked really good. Jamal Charlo and Jermaine Charlo both look good. Really nice prospects there. We'll keep an eye on them in the future. As far as your Australian Open tennis, okay, I got on this a little bit last week. I'm sorry. Tennis needs some new blood. First of all, I have another problem with the Australian Open. You can't start your matches at 3 a.m. here in the United States. These championship matches and semifinals start at 3 a.m. in the morning. Nobody's watching that here in the United States live. You're not staying up to 3 a.m. to watch tennis. It's bad enough to watch tennis, in a normal hour of the day. You're going to get up at 3 a.m. to watch tennis? I mean, come on. I mean, that's the terrible job that you can't have your major tournament, one of your 4 major tournaments, start their championship game at 3 a.m. Not good at all. Here's the thing. Tennis needs some new blood. You can't have the same 3 or 4 players make it to the semifinals and make it to the finals and make it to the championship every single time. I mean, you have Federer, you have Nadal, you have Novak, and I'll include Murray. Although Murray has only won 1 major, I'll include him. Other than those guys, no one wins anything. You can't even name someone else in the top 10. I mean, I thought Del Potro was going to be a good player. Injuries have destroyed him. David Ferrer is your number 4 ranked player. David Ferrer never won a major. He's ranked 4. I'm sorry. Tennis needs some new blood, especially on the men's side. This is the problem I have with tennis. You see, back in the 80s, back in Jimmy Connors and McEnroe and back with those guys, tennis was 10, 15 deep. You could have any number of guys winning it from, any number of positions. You could have the 10 seed winning, the 8 seed winning. Now, it's your top 3 players, top 3 or 4 that get to the semifinals and the finals every single year. There is no depth in men's tennis, and this started a while ago. This started when Pete Sampras was playing. Pete Sampras basically had no competition. Agassi, a little bit, but Sampras was better than Agassi, so you had Sampras and a little Agassi, nobody else. Now, you have Federer, who's old, Nadal, who is hurt, Novak, who just recently started coming on the last 2 years. He couldn't beat Nadal and Federer when they were, healthy and in their prime. And I'll give you Murray. And Murray's only won one title, and that was the U.S. Open last year. Other than that, nobody can win, and they're all unwatchable. And these tournaments, they're 2 weeks. You might as well skip the first week and a half and go right to the semifinals because nothing happens for a week and a half. You have the same guys winning all the matches. The big players beat the little players, and it's a waste of time the first week and a half. And I'll tell you, the women's side may be slightly better. It's not great either. Azarenka, the number 1 seed, right to the finals, won the finals. And I didn't like what she did playing the young American Samantha Stevens. Azarenka, as Stevens was rallying in the second set, she pulled looks like a fake injury. She went back to the locker room, rested up a little bit, threw Stevens off her game. Azarenka came back and ends up winning. Didn't like what she pulled. Women's tennis is a little better than men's tennis, but still not great. I mean, Serena Williams is still playing at a high level, and she's like 100 years old. Venus Williams has fallen out. Samantha Stevens does look like a good prospect, but again, you have the same few players. Sharapova, Azarenka, the same couple of players winning all these tournaments. Not good, even in the doubles. I watched the men's doubles finals. The Bryan brothers from the United States won again. They seem to win every doubles title. You have no depth in tennis in anything. Not in men's tennis, not in women's tennis, not in doubles. No one seems to be playing tennis. I know in the United States, no one on the men's side plays tennis anymore. They're too busy doing other things, other sports. It's kind of like soccer. Men in the United States do not play soccer at a certain level, and they don't play tennis. They're off doing other sports. They're off playing football or basketball or hockey or baseball. They're doing other things. So it's really hurting the tennis game. It is unwatchable to watch these tennis games. I mean, every single tournament, it's the same guys winning. Unwatchable. I mean, how many times are we going to see Roger Federer in the semifinals? And Federer is old for a tennis player. He still gets to the semifinals every time. It's ridiculous. So that's my little thing on tennis. I mean, the next big tournament is the French Open in May, so we have a little time for tennis. As far as another thing I want to touch on, I watched the X Games over the weekend. You're saying the X Games? What do you mean the X Games? Those guys aren't athletes. Let me tell you something. Anyone that says the X Games guys aren't athletes doesn't know anything about sports. These guys are athletic. They take tremendous chances. They're doing bat flips with snowmobiles. They're doing like half pikes with the super pike, with the snowboards and all that. They're doing tricks and flips. All you need to know is how many people they carted off with injuries. They carted off so many people with injuries because it's a very tough, dangerous sport. You have to be extremely athletic to do that. And Shaun White has won 6 gold medals in a row. Congratulations to him. He is like the gold standard as far as these X Games goes. So X Games, if you ever get a chance to watch them, the Winter X Games and the Summer X Games, in the summertime with the bicycling, definitely check it out. You may be surprised. I think they're also going to go on tour, the X Games. I think they're going to have 2 winter events and maybe a few summer events leading up to the Summer X Games. I believe it's in August. But really, really good athletes, and the tricks they do. These guys were on snowmobiles doing backflips on a snowmobile. I mean, don't try this at home. I mean, please. I mean, very dangerous stuff, and I really get annoyed when people say, oh, that's not a sport, they're not athletic. Go check out what those guys do. That is definitely an athletic sport, and those guys deserve all the credit in the world for basically putting their life on the line to do these tricks, because these are life-threatening tricks they're doing. A backflip on a snowmobile? Are you kidding me? So I did watch the X Games. I did watch Shaun White, so I wanted to touch on that as well. As far as tonight isn't a great night in the sports world. As far as hockey, something to watch, maybe Vancouver, LA is a decent game. NBA, you got Houston, Utah, Indiana, Denver, not great. College basketball, you got your big Monday. That's probably what I'm going to watch tonight. You got Pitt at Louisville. We'll see if Louisville can end their 3-game losing streak. Pitt is playing a lot better, playing tremendous ball. And Kansas at West Virginia. I love watching Kansas. I wish they were home. I love when they play at home. Kansas is always fun to watch. They're always a big-time team. So if you get a chance, watch Big Monday tonight. You got a couple good college basketball games. As far as tomorrow, we'll get into our college basketball. We'll do some NHL. Wednesday, we'll do some NBA. Thursday, of course, we'll do the Super Bowl. I mean, maybe one day the Super Bowl will actually get here. So that's kind of where we are with our sports. We kind of did a little recap there. I will be back with you guys tomorrow. You guys, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your day today. Stay safe. I will talk to you tomorrow, Tuesday. Take care.